Hello, I'm Brian Bowyer, and once upon a time I thought Prince was the Antichrist. I can explain. I just got home from work. I work at an automotive factory that makes brakes for Honda, but I don't work on the assembly lines like most of the other workers. I am always either by myself or with one other person in one of the three drive shaft cells, either the RDX cell, the MDX cell, or the CRV cell, and I love it. When I'm by myself, I just work on whatever book I'm working on in my head. And when I'm with another person, I do that too. But we occasionally do have conversations. And often I will glance over at the other person and just randomly start spitting the lyrics of whatever song pops into my head, which is usually either death metal or gangster rap, and the other person usually has no idea what I'm talking about. The night before last, I was training a new guy in the RDX cell, a white dude, way younger than me, maybe half my age, if that. And he seemed a little nervous. I mean, he was barely even speaking to me, which didn't bother me at all. But at some point, a notorious B.I.G. song popped into my head, and I just glanced over at him out of the blue and went armed and dangerous. Ain't too many can't bang with us. We just sitting here trying to win, trying not to sin, high off weed and lots of gin. So much smoke need oxygen. Steadily counting them Benjamins, homie. You'd shit too if you knew what this game would do to you. Been in this shit since 92. Look at all the bullshit I've been through. So-called beef with you know who. Fucked a few female stars or two. Shit, you tell me. Who's the killer? Me or you? And he was like, dude, what are you talking about? And I was like, you don't listen to Biggie Smalls, man? And he was like, who? And I was like, man, never mind. And then last night, I was in the MDX cell with another white dude named Ian. And he's been there for a while. Ian's old, like me. Well, he's actually a year younger than me. Ian's 48, I'm 49. But I thought, let's try something different. So I glanced over at him and was like, lashing out the action, returning the reaction, we are ripped and torn away. Hypnotizing power, crushing all that cower. Finish it. And he was like, dude, what is that? And I was like, smashing through the boundaries. Lunacy has found me. Cannot stop the pounding out aggression. Turns into obsession. Cannot kill the family. Battery is found in me. And he went, dude, is that Metallica? And I was like, hell yeah, man. Battery, the first song on Master of Puppets. He was like, man, I thought that was Metallica. Are they still making music? I was like, hell yeah, dude. They just put out a new song about a month ago called Lux Eterna. And he was like, Lux Eterna? I was like, yeah, dude, it's Latin for eternal light. And it sounds vintage. I'm talking, it straight up sounds like something that could be on their debut album from 1983, Kill 'Em All. And he was like, hell yeah, man, I'll have to remember to look that up. I was like, dude, don't even worry about it. I'll send you a link. So, of course, I went home and forgot all about it. But this morning, when I woke up, I remembered. And I was like, man, I need to send Ian Lux Eterna. So I went to YouTube, copied the link, and sent it to him on Facebook Messenger. Then Ian sent me a message back soon thereafter talking about, man, that was awesome. And dude, you were right. That sounds just like the old shit. Then I got in my car this afternoon to drive to work. I work second shift, 3 to midnight. And I grabbed Kill 'Em All from one of the CD sleeves on my back seat, put it in the CD player, and listened to the first 3 songs on the way to work. Hit the Lights, the Four Horsemen, and Motor Breath. And oh my God, that shit sounded so fucking good in the car, man, real loud. I had not listened to that album in a while. The production on Kill 'Em All is so raw that it sounds like Metallica is right there in the room with you, which is part of that album's charm. Anyway, I got to work and find out that I'm working with Ian again in the MDX cell. And I said, man, have you ever noticed that James Hetfield lists the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse incorrectly in the lyrics of Metallica's song, The Four Horsemen? And he was like, no. And I was like, yeah, man. In the song, the lyrics go, time has taken its toll on you, the lines that crack your face. Famine, your body, it has worn through, withered in every place. Pestilence, for what you have endured and what you have put others through. death, deliverance for you for sure. Now there's nothing you can do. So in the lyrics, he's listing the four horsemen of the apocalypse as time, famine, pestilence, and death. But in the Bible, it's war, famine, pestilence, and death. Well, technically in the Bible, it's conquest, famine, pestilence, and death. But in the Bible, conquest in that context means war. But out here, conquest can mean other things, but war just means war. So when I'm referring to the four horsemen of the apocalypse, I always just say war, famine, pestilence, and death. So Hetfield got 3 of the 4 right with famine, pestilence, and death. But time and war have completely different meanings. So he got that wrong. But it's still an awesome song. And Ian was like, so you know a lot about the Bible? And I was like, oh, hell yeah, dude. I was raised in a strict fundamentalist Christian household, and I fucking hated it. So after I became a teenage drug dealer with a lot of money and a fake ID, unless I was locked up in juvie hall, I was living in hotels because I could only take my parents in small doses. And he was like, so do you ever think about Armageddon and the apocalypse and the Antichrist? And I was like, not really. But I did. Once upon a time, when I was 11 years old in 1984, for a brief period of time, think that Prince was the Antichrist. And Ian was like, Prince, the singer? And I was like, yeah, dude, you were alive back then. You know how it was. We all thought the world was going to end. I mean, we were all just waiting for it. It was almost like a subconscious thing or something. We didn't know when the world would end, but we all thought that by the year 2000, at the latest, all of this would be gone. I mean, we legitimately believed that 1999, at the latest, would be our last year on planet Earth. Prince even wrote a song about it called 1999. They say 2000, party's over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999. And a lot of people spent a lot of time trying to figure out who the Antichrist was. And one of the things they would look for was a person with 6 letters in each of their 3 names for 666. A lot of people thought President Reagan was the Antichrist for that very reason, because his name was Ronald Wilson Reagan. Ronald, R-O-N-A-L-D, 6 letters. Wilson, W-I-L-S-O-N, 6 letters. And Reagan, R-E-A-G-A-N, 6 letters. But I didn't buy it. The Bible said that the Antichrist would be charismatic and that a lot of people would love him and follow him anywhere. And I was like, man, ain't nobody following Ronald Wilson Reagan's 188 million-year-old crusty ass anywhere. I couldn't even believe he got elected president. I mean, I was 11 years old and thought I knew everything, but that's what you do when you're 11, right? You think you know everything. But Prince was very charismatic, and a lot of people loved him, and a lot of people would have followed him anywhere. And he also had the whole 6 letters in each of his 3 names thing going for him, with Prince Rogers Nelson. Prince, P-R-I-N-C-E, 6 letters. Rogers, R-O-G-E-R-S, 6 letters. Nelson, N-E-L-S-O-N, 6 letters. And I also knew that according to the Bible, Lucifer was one of the most beautiful angels in all of heaven before he got cast out, and that he was a master of music. Back in those days, people used to say that the media itself was the devil. People would say back in the 80s that the media was just Satan controlling the airwaves with his music. And Prince certainly controlled the airwaves with his music in 1984 when he dropped not only the movie Purple Rain, but the soundtrack. And there's a song on that soundtrack called Darling Nikki. And it's one of the songs that made Al Gore's wife, Tipper Gore, form the PMRC, the Parents Music Resource Center, which was the organization that was responsible for putting all those explicit warnings, parental advisory stickers on the albums which only made the kids want to listen to the music even more. So the whole thing was stupid. But and back then, a lot of us had whatever albums we liked. We had them in both cassette and vinyl. You know, we'd have the cassettes for our boom boxes and our Walkmans or whatever, and then we'd have the albums so we could read the lyric sheets and the liner notes and look at all the photos and whatever. And so I had both the cassette and the vinyl album of the Purple Rain soundtrack. And it was a backward message. There is a backward message at the end of the song, Darling Nikki. But if you only heard the song in the movie, you wouldn't know that. But if you had the soundtrack at home like I did and listened to it, you heard it. Now, a lot of people may have heard that and just thought it was Prince speaking gibberish, but I knew immediately that it was a backward message. I was like, dude, this was 1984. This was the height of the entire satanic panic thing. And we fucking loved that shit, man. I mean, if we even heard a rumor that an artist or a band had a backward message in one of their songs, we got excited and came running. So that's what I did. I went to my younger brother and was like, dude, there's a backward message on this Purple Rain soundtrack. And he was like, fuck yeah. So we put the album on the record player, put the turntable in neutral, dropped the needle on the vinyl, and began spinning that bitch in reverse so that we could listen to the backward message. And lo and behold, Prince said, hello, how are you? I am fine, for I know that the Lord is coming soon. Coming soon. Ha 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 ha. And I went, dude, Prince is the fucking Antichrist. He just told us all that he is happy that the rapture will be happening soon and that God will come down here and call all of the Christians home to be with him and Jesus and all the angels in heaven, allowing Prince to rise as the Antichrist and rule planet Earth. And my brother was like, dude, you're fucking right, man. Prince is the goddamn Antichrist. And we fucking loved it. We fucking loved Prince, man. I still do. I miss that motherfucker. Now, of course, I didn't believe that shit for very long. Probably a week later or so, I was like, man, that's some stupid shit. Prince ain't the fucking Antichrist. But yeah, for a brief moment in time, in 1984, when I was 11 years old, I thought Prince was the Antichrist. Just a silly story that I shared with a guy at work and thought I would share it with you. Oh, but getting back to one of those four horsemen of the apocalypse, war, please keep one of the brightest stars in the book community, the booktube community, Pax Panic, in your thoughts as she is battling the big C right now. War is never pleasant, of course, but we all know that she is scrappy, and we have complete confidence that Pax will emerge from this victorious. Have a nice night.